Such a weird word, gusset, isn't it? It's so
You always
ugly.
say that. You obviously love it because you say it all
I don't.
the time.
I hate it.
I hate it.
It makes me think
Gusset.
of used rope.
Oof. What's your most hated word? I know it. I know what's going to come up.
What?
In their hundreds, it's going to come up.
Moist.
Oh, Mark! You've said it now.
From
you know what,
gusset
it's
to
really
moist.
hard. It's really hard when you're cooking and you're making cakes and things not to use that word. Can anyone think of a word
Gooey.
that explains as what? No, gooey is very different. Gooey cake would be...
Heavy. Loaded.
It's Kiki's birthday soon, and I said to her, what sort of cake would you like? Any cake that you like. She went,
I heard this.
A
It was
dry
strange.
one.
Yeah, a dry one.
I said,
Do
"Dry
you know what
one?"
I did when she said that? I made a mental note self, no cake on birthday. I'm not eating any cake on
So
birthday.
here I am, Celebrity Master Chef winner.
Oh,
Have
do you have to
whatever
tell us
cake.
every time?
Have whatever cake you want. Even though I'm not a very good cake maker, I'm really not.
You're very funny at cakes.
I'm really not good at cakes at all. But
Christos says
here I am.
scrumptious. How about
One,
scrumptious?
scrumptious is good.
Sorry.
Yeah. Here I am, ready to make her anything. Maddie was like, oh, Mum made me a red velvet cake for my birthday last year. It was the best red velvet cake ever done. And she said, do you know what she said? Do you know what she said? She said, I like the football cake from Tesco's.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and she showed me the fact it was literally a football.
I think what she means is, and I'm
No.
very similar, I like those plasticky
No,
cakes
no,
from
I
Marks
know.
Spencer's with the plastic buttercream and the sweet jam.
I
And
know.
that's
And
what
she's
she means.
never, the girls have never shared with me an interesting book.
No, darling, don't get excited. She's not fucking
Have you
interested
seen
in
the
football.
cake? It was a
She's interested
proper
in the game.
fucking
No,
football.
but it's just...
I know it's not the
just-
football, but let me dream. Not that I'm a big football fan, but every now and then it would just be nice to indulge it.
So, if you could have a homemade birthday cake,
What would it be?
or one of
Good
those,
luck,
you know
quick
which
lady.
ones we mean, the Asda Tesco waitress cake with the like salty, like fake buttercream.
Okay.
I love them.
Natasha
Proper-
Tiramos is opening the account with Colin the Caterpillar cake.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
pretty
That's what Maddie
delicious.
said. So what would you have? Would you have a homemade cake baked with love? Or would you have a caterpillar, a football?
I think
Happy
I
birthday
prefer a
with
plas-
balloons.
I think I prefer a plastic cake. A
You prefer a
Ross
takeaway
Souch,
to
a
my own
homemade,
dinner?
a homemade cheesecake for Ross Souch. We were discussing this last week. A cheesecake is one of my favourite cakes,
Well,
but
you
it
have a
has to be
cheesecake for your birthday.
cheesy. It has to be
Cakey.
quite hard, and it
Well,
needs
you
to be.
you want a baked one then. You don't want the no bake cheesecake, which everyone wants always.
Don't know what it is.
All right, I need to do a baked cheesecake. Do you like the biscuit base?
Base.
Because some people don't like
I read
biscuit base. Oh, God,
I just love Greg Wallace's chest. Don't you at the moment?
Apparently, Greg
Wallace
Wallace has got the body of an athlete.
Have you seen him? It's really odd. It's like his head hasn't changed all these years, and his body is completely transformed.
Homemade cake every day, says Leo.
I wanted to run my
Homemade
finger down the profile of his chest.
lemon drizzle.
Greg. Good pecs! Sorry.
Oh God, that was way too much. So annoying.
Sorry. Good
Oh, this is quite encouraging. Nearly everyone wants a homemade cake. Do you know what I prefer?
No.
A shop bought with plastic buttercream.
I was going to say you love shop bought.
I love shit
Leanne
cake.
T+3, my favourite is homemade apple and caramel pie, is it? Or caramel?
Caramel. Our local shop does, you know those half cakes for £1? They're about this big.
Yeah.
And every so
Every now
often,
and
me
then.
and Kiki
It's
want one
usually
so
time of the
badly.
month, isn't it?
So Mark goes and buys one, and me and Kiki eat the whole thing.
Mm.
I could eat through the day. If you bought me 6 of those, I would eat them. I would have no problem eating them.
Christos likes a honeycomb cheesecake. I'm not a fan of honeycomb. It's weird.
Actually, if you go down to the shop, get one of them as well. For
I love the Victoria sponge, says Jen Legs. I make it. It's delicious, even if I do say so myself.
yeah.
Yeah. Chemical mouth
I prefer
explosion.
a shop-bought chemical Victoria sponge.
Sticky toffee pudding homemade with little fudge pieces, says Erin Bullymore.
Nice. Anyway, we've digressed.
Homemade carrot cake, says Holly McCready.
If you've just joined us and you've never been to Coffee Moaning this morning, we do sometimes go off on one at the beginning because we all love food here.
Chin chin.
Sometimes we talk about food, sometimes we talk about sex, sometimes we
Because
talk
we
about...
love food more than we love sex, don't we? Do you think? On balance, what could you live without
Would I
more?
have a bacon sandwich or would I have...
It's a very quick poll question. Let's write it.
Go on, write it.
Would you have a? Which would
What do
you
you prefer, food or a bit of the other? You can't put sex. God, I made yesterday on the No Name Sunday show. Tell them about my sausage egg McMuffins. Tell them. Maddie said she likes them better than her McDonald's one. I love a McDonald's
I
sausage.
thought that was a euphemism.
I love a sausage. I love a McDonald's
So which do you like,
McMuffin.
food or sex?
Well, I suppose it depends
Hang
where
on.
I am and
like
what's
a
happened
sausage.
just before.
Only Nadia could say I like a sausage in the way
Sausage
that she
egg
did.
McMuffin.
Yeah, all right.
So what does everyone... Come on, we want a vote.
We've got it. Oh,
Food,
wow.
81%.
You've got very rapidly. At 47 votes, 81%. Food or some of the other. I should have put both. Hard choice. Very funny, Heather. Saab Turbo, both. I can't decide, says Laurel Nichols. It's a hard one.
Can you
isn't it?
take that down and put on I can't decide?
No, I can't.
So I'm torn between.
People say
I'm
I'm
torn between two lovers,
I
just
can't.
like a fool.
No.
Loving both of you is breaking all
I'm
the
not
rules.
writing all of that. No. Morning, Elijah's. Get a Costco cake.
Very good. Oh yeah, people have talked about Costco cakes. They say they're delicious.
Beth Scammell, some of the other than a nice meal. Between a rock and a hard place.
Oh,
says
so
Sonnet
you
in my
like
bonnet.
some of the other and then a nice meal?
Pink Lady, can't you have
Never
sex
thought of
then
it that
cake?
way round.
Yeah.
That is true, isn't it? Because once you've had a nice meal, you can't be bothered to do anything.
You certainly don't want to move your belly around, do you?
No.
No. Which kind of leads me to one of the topics that we were discussing today.
So what do you prefer, sex or food?
Sex every time. I could do without
I
sex.
should have got them to guess. I should have done
Yeah.
a poll. What does Mark prefer?
But this is alarming because, sorry, not that one. This is alarming, this story, because women apparently fancy their husbands less when they get to a certain age. Has your sex life been affected? A woman's desire for her husband plunges after she turns
Plunges.
40. Now let's think about this. You turned 40 3 years into meeting me.
Well, I think, okay, do you want me to really answer this
But
question?
libido stays otherwise healthy into the 80s with levels of solo
Absolute
play almost unchanged.
That is absolute fucking bullshit.
Right.
Who wrote this?
So, at the Sun.
Oh, there we go. Nick McDermott
And
and
Alex. Could be a female
so
Alex.
two men.
Could be an Alex, female Alex. Anyway, a woman's desire for a husband plunges after she turns 30. Research shows that females increasingly prefer to go it alone in the bedroom in later life.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So
Go
did
it
you
alone.
go off? Do you?
Hang on a
you
minute.
said
What can we
3
do a
years.
poll on that?
Oh,
do
what
you
do you want to
agree,
poll?
disagree with that?
What?
Well, okay. Right. So
Give
it
us the
is
poll
a
question.
fact.
Hang on.
When your testosterone is depleted, your sex drive is depleted. Right? Same with men, same with women. Same thing. Right? So after 40...
But this is about fancying
No,
your
but
partner.
after 40 could be a case of women's hormones drop, but it could also be that they're just sick and tired of the person they've married because they've probably been married about 10 years then.
Okay, so for you it would have been 47. So did you? Yeah, that's about the right time. You kind of went off sex then, didn't we? About 47.
We didn't.
I think. Yeah.
No, I've spoken very honestly about this. That when you
Notice
are,
how there's a
when
hushed
you
silence.
when you without HRT, you don't have the same libido that you would when you have the hormones that you're supposed
Right.
to have. And it's like my menopause doctor said. There's 3 hormones that we need for the vitality and to feel the way that we did. That's estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Some wise guy, and it will have been a guy, decided, oh, we'll just give them 3, the estrogen and the progesterone. So women still have to fight for the testosterone, which is a vital part of...
Right. Okay. Well, this
I
research.
found out
This.
something a bit sad the other day that I didn't realise.
What's that?
That not everybody responds to HRT.
No.
I'm actually really lucky. Something like 35-40% of people don't have any response to it.
And am I allowed to be honest? I've noticed a huge change in that department.
Shut the fuck
Have you
up.
got eye? Have you got eye?
He's
Have
literally
you got
just
strange
lying.
eyes in?
Ah, no.
Your eyes look different.
Do my eyes look different? I've
Completely
got my
different.
eyelashes on.
Oh.
Can you see my eyelashes?
No. Okay, so here's some things. So this is being written in the Archives of Sexual Behaviour. Researcher from Hamburg says that what's this? One theory is that women lose interest in their partner as fertility declines, i.e., your sort of surface to requirements. In contrast, though, men continue to desire wives well into their 70s and 80s, with attraction levels remaining undiminished.
Some people I know are really sick of their husbands.
At 70 or 80?
No, who are just, nothing's declining.
Well, something's declining.
What?
The amount of sex, I presume.
Oh, they're not declining.
Why is it not
Did
declining?
you see how what's not declining?
You said, you made a face that obviously people you know are bored of their relationships.
Yeah, but their husbands are not declining.
Oh, I see. They're still wanting it.
The same.
Oh, Christ. Okay. God, I hope we don't fall into that category in about 10 years. Do you think we will?
No. I don't know what you're going to be like when you're old. I've got my HRT patches. So
what does that mean?
Well,
You're going to stay younger than me.
Testosterone might decline, and lots of men their sex drive decreases.
So what's going to happen if mine decreases and yours increases?
A bit of a piccalilli. Suppose we'll go back to bed like.
Oh, I see. So you agree with it?
I don't agree with any of it.
Okay, anyway, so sex therapists said that the study found partners struggle to communicate their needs. A little bit like us just then. We didn't communicate anything to each other.
Do they mention anything about HRT? They talk about fertility declining. Now, what happens when your fertility declines? Your hormones
But this is interesting. Experts think that men lose their youthful lust for attractive strangers as they get older and focus on their families. So as men
they want their wives more.
Turn their gaze more towards their wives. The wives are like, fuck that for a game of soldiers, I want something younger.
Yeah, because I've been listening to you wittering on for the last 25 years and I'm sick to death of you.
Wow, I've got something to look forward to. You'll go with a smile on your face at someone. So women fancy their... So you think it's all hormonal? This is why
No, I don't. I think it's a mixture of the two, that a lot of people, a lot of men are not very good at making their women feel cherished.
Good point.
If you are going to drop your pants every time and you're married to a tidy woman who likes to tidy house, luckily you're not, so your pants don't annoy me. But for some women, continuously seeing pants and socks left turns them off. Continuously having the toilet seat left up turns it on. Never ever clearing up, never ever helping. Eventually, they don't feel sexual towards that person. They just fucking hate them.
Okay.
Would anyone agree?
Well, fair enough. Well, then that could lead to... What do you think of this as a potential... Now,
Very good point.
Yeah, very good point, Nadia.
Yes,
well made.
Nadia.
I think well made.
So,
well
but
said, says Nadia. Totally agree, says Hazel Malbon. Agreed, good ship lollipop. Yes, Nicola Marcella. Oh my God, yeah, well, there you go, Nadia.
So if that is
Just
Alex...
pick your pants up, guys, says John Dobbins. Simple.
Now, John Dobbins, yes, you're onto something there, but it takes a little bit more than just your pants. Like,
Pick
okay,
your
I'm going to be
scrotum off the
honest.
floor.
One of the things, now I'm really messy, and we would both say we're very blessed in that we do not have a marriage where there's any kind of niggling each other about domesticity, right? It annoys me when Mark doesn't wipe the sides, but it's just his thing. But something that really, really annoys me every single morning, and it's crazy because the whole place is a tip, is Mark and the girls will always leave a drink under the sofa. That over and over again, I knock it over. Maddie always leaves a packet of seaweed, and it just makes me just go, ugh, because they know they're not going to clear it up. The only person that's going to clear that up is me, and it eats away at you over decades.
Yeah.
Would you agree, girls?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's fine. Jan, just to bring us back to earth.
And Mark prides himself on being somebody that doesn't leave the toilet seat up, not knowing that he does sometimes.
Very infrequently.
Well, this is the image you have of
No,
yourself.
hang on.
But
I
it's not
know
the
it's
truth.
infrequently because I use the toilet more than you. And whenever I go in there, I'm always fucking picking it up. So, with all due respect,
I'm so sorry. Do you
I
want me to
don't
leave
even.
it
I
up
don't
for you?
even use your loo.
He's made that sound like I'm supposed to leave it up.
No. Well, exactly. Well, there is a little bit of that. I mean, I use it so often, and every time I go in, do you know what I think to myself? God, what a good bloke. He always puts it down.
I know you love
Always.
yourself so much. For
Always.
that,
I'm
but
not.
it's
I
just,
am not
it's
buying that.
delusionary.
The cut of the chairs and the cans of Diet Coke.
That's
and all
the
that
other
kind of
thing.
stuff,
Why
agree.
do they want a round of bloody applause if they do put the toilet seat
Because
down?
you usually home in and have a go. So there's a defect. That is a female bear trap in action. attack, criticize. You mount the most simplest and banal of defences, and it's like, well, why do they have to get so defensive and always go on about it? I'm not. I'm
Ollie
saying
has
one
just
thing.
said, Nadia, ... What's tails? There's a lot of women that...
There's a fuckload of bras just on every chair around this table. There's 85 pairs of shoes trailing through to the
No,
bathroom.
but you like that, because you'd miss me. if
No,
you
I
didn't
don't
see
like that.
Yes, you
I
would.
trip
If
over
you
it.
didn't see my shoes, if you...
Here we go, says Julie Evans. And this is why there is cake and no sex. Very good, very good. Well, okay, in that case, I didn't think I'd be bringing up Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan's wife has talked about, and this might be a solution. This might be
who's
something.
feeling stressed.
This might be something that kind of helps with the kind of sex conundrum or women losing interest
Piers
in their
Morgan
husbands.
helping with sex.
Yeah, no. Well, you'll understand why in a minute. Do you remember years ago we had that idea which was called separate to stay together?
Oh, yeah.
It was the idea being
Really good
relationships in crisis or struggling or going through a boring stretch and reaching the end. You separate them in a proper trial separation to see if you can then bring them back together. I think it would still make a
Absence
great
makes
show.
the heart grow fonder.
Precisely. Well, she did it, and she said it really worked. Piers Morgan's wife, Celia Walden, she took a 6-week marriage sabbatical, and it worked wonders. Her analogy is quite good. She says, you know when your computer becomes painfully slow without any discernible cause, and the answer is always to switch it off at the mains and restart? That's what a marriage sabbatical does. There was nothing wrong. We weren't glitching. It wasn't like the little rainbow wheel known as Satan's beach ball had started turning in my head.
Known as Satan's beach ball.
But,
I've never known that.
I've never, no, it's
such a
spinning
thing.
wheel of death, I call it. But anyway, yeah, so what do you think of this idea, guys? Do you think separating to stay together is kind of
Right.
quite a good idea?
I think it's a very dangerous idea.
Oh,
I think it really depends where you are with your marriage. Like, I think with us, and
I
maybe
thought
I'm
she
being...
would have needed more, said George.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe it's me being presumptuous, but I think we could actually do it because I think we aren't deeply unhappy looking for something better.
Right.
So I think if you're in a good place with your marriage,
Yes.
I think it could enhance your marriage.
Right.
I think if you're very wobbly, it could work, it could make you miss them, but it could also make you go, oh, thank fuck for that, because the first 6 weeks could be a pink cloud. Oh, I'm not listening to that other person, I'm not having to do everything for them, I can do whatever I like. But past that, I think often people do start to miss what they had. You know, so I think it's risky. I think, do you stay in touch at all? Do you have a total break? I don't know. What do you think?
I think, as with all things in life, I think being able to manage some aspect of distance and close proximity
It's good for you.
is good for you.
Yeah.
This is really weird that Dennis Healy, years ago, do you remember the guy with the eyebrows, the politician? No, he once said, he had a very loving marriage apparently, and he once said that it was crucial that you allowed each other the space to sort of be apart and enjoy yourselves separate to each other and all that kind of stuff.
Few
Now I know
holidays
you have a
apart.
much bigger social circle, but I actually like my own company too. So, you know, the way in which we can spend time apart is different. The optics on it are different. As in, I wouldn't be doing what you're doing, you know. But I also discovered this year, as you'll see in one of the vlogs, that I can actually enjoy or get something quite meaningful from, say, a yoga retreat or something like that. So I think finding ways to because I think men are the problem in this equation. I don't think women have a problem with getting away from their fellas. I think ironically, I think men are the ones that struggle with it a little bit more than women. The idea of
Well,
it.
I mean, I have, you know, I'm a woman's woman. I have a need to be just with other women sometimes, but I always miss you. I never don't miss you. I never think, oh, I think, oh, this is nice to be away.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
nice not to be a mum and be a wife, and I'm just hanging out with my friends. And but I don't think I always can't wait to get back and see you.
No, that's nice. That's nice. Oh. Hate that idea, says Jen Legs. She thinks it's the start of a slippery
Yeah,
slope.
I think if you're a bit nervous about your
Yeah.
relationship, it could be a problem. But
Morning,
I think-
Elliot Gonzalez.
I actually think it's really important to do things like
Yeah.
every so often I go away with my friends,
Yeah.
you know, for a few days, and It's good. It feels good.
Pixie Petal Jenny, I have always been away on girls' weekends and stay with my family. The break does us both good. Married 30
really
years next month. Ray here says, I miss my Wayne too much. Sophie Louise, I think as you get older, your feelings change towards your partner. Not that you don't want to be sexually involved, but things just change. It will never be like the honeymoon stage. Zoe, my ex never let me see my friends, controlling arsewipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've had a tough time there.
Yeah. What did it say? Only date sober next time, Zoe.
But an interesting concept. I think we should revisit that as an idea. Big news over the weekend is university fees. Two stories. One, universities are wanting to push for annual tuition fees to go up from £9,000 a year to £24,000 a year. Now, universities have a funding issue, which is why they are offering so many places to foreign students. This used to be the case when I went to university. But universities are actually saying that due to the tuition fees having been frozen at £9,000 for 10 years, they believe that they are now having to oversubscribe to foreign students or allow more foreign students in to stay viable. And they're wanting to raise, or they're lobbying government to raise tuition fees by £24,000.
They were saying
to
yesterday on the
24,000.
radio it will never get to 24. It
It
could probably
can't.
be more like 12 to 15. They're saying that's what we want, but they won't get that.
As me too, only the rich will get education. Now,
Exactly.
the thing, whatever happened to scrapping tuition fees? Yeah, so glad to be Scottish. I think one of the things that, you do have to fund these institutions, and there is state funding, obviously, and then there's how do they get funded by the private sector or by students? It's
a real
conundrum,
conundrum
but
because
I think
do you do means tested so people from wealthy families have to pay,
Exactly.
and then the government have to give exactly the same amount of places for free, but then you could have parents that are wealthy that don't want to pay for you to go to university or don't want you to do the course and refuse to pay. So it's I was thinking about this yesterday, thinking how could you make this fairer? I mean, how did we pay for it before?
Well, it was all it was principally centrally funded. It was the
But
government
David-
subsidised the industry. One of the problems I have with it is that I just think we have, and this is kind of connected to a second story, which is I think we are overemphasising university as a route, and I think university has become a chapter in a person's life. And we don't question anymore as to whether, or we don't challenge the idea that perhaps it's not the right decision for everyone.
We have to really
talking
build
of
up our
polytechnics, trades, vocational, all that kind of stuff.
Apparently in Germany, they're fantastic system with that. Because it's almost like a vocational subject. Well, it's exactly like a vocational subject doesn't have worth. So it's like even the other day, the way everything is reported around education, and Nick Ferrari all morning, and of course we're now waiting on the A stars and A numbers. It's like you just constantly, kids are being told that what they're doing isn't enough. And we wonder why we have the unhappiest children in Europe. We wonder why we have the highest rate of suicide in young men. I mean, just terrifying numbers. And I think it's because we are really selling them a pup. We are selling them a lie. Just think about the way they were treated through the pandemic, made to pay for these rentals that they weren't even in. A friend of mine's daughter who's at Edinburgh University, very highfalutin university. I literally cannot believe the way that she's been treated over the last couple of years.
You raised
No
the second
tuition.
story.
What?
You raised the second story. Well, more and more students are now, a girl,
Want a refund?
Tia O'Donnell, at her graduation, at the South Bank, wore a banner across her gown at her graduation saying, I want a refund. The idea being that if you are a business, as you rightly say, MeTube, it's a business, you are consumers. You're not students, you're consumers consuming a product. And there is an increasing number of people, Tia O'Donnell being one of them, saying, we weren't taught. I've learned nothing. We got nothing substantial from the course. You can't charge money. Now, of course, there is a procedure.
You can't have it all ways. If you're saying, oh, well, we're a business and we need to charge you more, you've got to understand that people are going to come for you and go, well, hang on a minute. I actually saw a tutor once a month if I was lucky. I got no pastoral care. I was pushed from pillar to post. That's what's going to happen. And these businesses could collapse if kids actually start looking at it and going, oh, well, what did I actually get for my money?
She says, I really don't feel like I've learnt anything. I want a refund. All her courses were done remotely. She had no face-to-face learning. And I do think there is, I know someone, a friend of a relative, who way before the pandemic was an issue, was at college somewhere. And she'd just gone through conventional college, pre-pandemic, normal scenario, and she felt like she'd learnt nothing, but came out with, and whenever, and I would always urge her, and I'd say, well, complain, ask. And whenever she asked, she was seen to be, a busybody, fussy, not really across what she needed to do. There must be something wrong with her if the university isn't doing it. So it's a slippery slope, and I don't know what the resolution is there. I literally don't know what the resolution is there. Rishi Sunak's resolution is only do degrees that guarantee maximum earning.
So you can pay for them back.
Which I think is what will end up happening, and you'll end up probably happening, so that the arts will end up going to just a few exclusive universities. Because look at America as a model. They do have arts degrees, but you just, there'll be fewer places where you can take them. So anyway, it's just bear that in mind. It could go from 9K to 24K a year, which is quite a remarkable lift. We've done women fancying their husbands. Queen's favourite. What's your favourite sandwich, Nads?
Egg mayonnaise with cheese and onion crisps.
Is it?
Or cheese with coleslaw and cheese and onion crisps. Or a toasted ham and cheese.
Oh, there's quite a few there. Do you know what the Queen's favourite sandwich is?
Cucumber?
No.
Egg mayonnaise?
No.
Ham?
No.
Corned beef?
No.
Tongue?
No.
Dunno.
Jam. Her favourite sandwich is a jam sandwich.
Done
That's
right.
it.
Done right.
Done right.
Done right. There's nothing quite like it. Not for me though. I'm a savoury girl. I don't like a sweet sandwich.
What's your favourite sandwich, guys? Cheese and pickle, Shazzy H. I don't like pickle. I like a cheese and onion sandwich, even though I don't like onion.
No, you don't like cheese and onion. You like cheese and coleslaw with onion.
I like the really gooey ones that you get in
If I
Marks
just
and
gave you a
Spencer's.
cheese and onion sandwich, you would not eat
I like
it.
mind you, every
Tuna
sandwich
mayo
you make
melt.
is good.
Tuna mayo melt. I never had that until a year or so ago, 2 years ago, and I loved it. I stay away from it.
Well, look, lots of answers here. Look, cheese and Branston pickle, Creatorholic. Winky Moo, homemade egg mayo, still a bit warm. Ooh, Linda Tyler, tuna and red onion. Ooh,
Yum, with
crikey.
red pepper.
Isn't that quite dry?
And mayo.
Bacon and egg with mayo and ketchup, Fiona Reid.
Bacon and egg with mayo.
Natasha Tyrrell, screaming idea, love cheese
I tell
and
you what I
coleslaw.
love that I haven't had for years. I used all through the 80s, anywhere I went, I would buy it. When I went to America, I got fat on it. I used to make them all the time. Can anyone guess what it is? It's a very American sandwich. So American.
Peanut and jam.
No, that is the most American, but not peanut butter and jelly. It's savoury.
Pastrami and rye.
No,
on rye.
that's very American.
Right.
People probably don't realise that this was American. It came to us in the 80s.
Enlighten us.
BLT.
It came from America.
Yeah.
Bacon, lettuce,
Yeah,
and tomato.
because it's supposed to be,
Bacon?
because it's the American crispy
Oh,
bacon. It's
okay.
cold
Yeah.
with the lettuce, American lettuce, mayo and tomato on like
Wow.
a mixed grain toast.
Wow. Okay.
God, it's so you know what? I love a club sandwich, but I don't like an egg in it.
I like the stick in it. Well, I forgot once to take the stick out of a club sandwich and it nearly skewered the top of my
very
mouth.
dangerous.
Yeah. But,
Chicken mayo and apple, Lucy says. Green cranberry.
now,
Right now, stop, because I'm
okay.
starving.
Just quickly, I've popped this in the title. I think this deserves some kind of comment. London is going through, and I think this is the heat. London is going through an astonishing moment of extreme street violence. Now, there's a place where I park down in Brixton whenever you go to the Ritzy, which is just kind of, where I park, where those gardens are. 7 men were arrested last night, 4 of them stabbed all in the street right next to where I park my car.
Every
literally.
time I walk past it, I don't like it. There's always like this anger.
4 men were stabbed during a brawl in Brixton. 2 on Saturday night. 2 people were rushed to hospital after a shooting in northwest London in the early hours of
That
Saturday.
87-year-old man in Greenford.
12-year-old
stabbed
girl
to
has been
death.
left fighting for her life after a hit and run in Barnet. Another man has been left in a life-threatening condition after another hit and run in Tower Hamlets. I always worry
Met
about you, Mum,
police
on that
again.
road. There is so much violence happening in London at the moment. It's quite
It's making
phenomenal.
us want to leave London,
Yeah.
you know, guys.
And I think a lot of other people are feeling the same. It's petrifying out there. It really is. It's quite
It's so hard to know where to go because there's nowhere that's safe.
Well, there's nowhere that's safe, but one place that isn't safe is South London at the moment. Well, not just South London, as you hear there, but north,
Everywhere.
east,
Right,
yeah,
north,
all over
east,
it.
west, everywhere.
It's a very, very, very tricky place. Two final stories. This was really
Yes,
heartbreaking.
this is very true. Kay talks to me about them. Glasgow isn't perfect, but it used to be violence capital of Europe, and nowhere near that now after
Police
worked with the gangs. Yes, there was that one guy, isn't there, that apparently is incredible. We need him here, and they really worked with people and massively changed the situation.
It's quite the opposite in London. I'm not going to talk about which areas, I just don't want to. But there are a couple of areas, not that far from here, where the police actively don't go in to large areas for fear of their own lives, but also on the understanding that there's a kind of militia of sorts that is sorting its own shit out. I mean, it's that bad. It really is bad in certain parts of London. I just wanted to share
I get
this.
really nervous going out of London. I'm not going to lie. It just feels febrile and just. I feel vulnerable walking down the street, and I fucking hate my kids going out. It's just. And I think, to be a mum of sons, it's a really difficult time as well, because they're just,
I just wanted to share this story that I saw over the weekend. It's incredibly sad, but heartwarming at the same time. This is a woman who, Kelly Warnell, who discovered she has a brain tumour. She has made a deal with her husband that every 5 years they would either divorce or renew their vows. She wants to marry the same man over and over again in case she's worried she may lose her memories of getting married.
that's so sweet.
Isn't that sweet? Which reminds me a little bit of the lady I met at the AA meeting. One of her biggest fears with Alzheimer's is forgetting she's an alcoholic. Kelly, 43, says, I'd marry John every day if I could, but that just isn't practical. The renewal idea started as a bit of fun, but since the tumour diagnosis, I've devoted my life to making as many memories as possible for me and for my family. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that sweet? The idea of doing it again and again so that she absolutely knows or remembers it. And one final story, going back to the Finnish Prime Minister. Finnish women have been posting videos of themselves all dancing
Good.
to support the Prime Minister, Sanna Marin, after leaked party clips. So they're just literally, women all over Finland are just posting images of themselves all dancing. Look, everywhere. Solidarity with Sanna happens to all of us. Secret, stupid, drunk video of me and my friends. Love it. There you go. Just because you're Prime Minister, can you not have it? Well, can you not? I'm sure Boris feels different.
So, guys, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and just have a look around the channel, because there's loads of stuff on here that might keep you happy for the day.
Oh, have a lovely day, guys. Oh, and I'll be doing a review of House of the Dragon later, and me and Nads will be doing the final episode of Married.